I was recently helping a client with this project, and I figured I'd record a quick walkthrough of it because if someone's had a problem with something, in my mind, I assume other people have had the same situation. And what this client was doing is they're not an education business. They run a service and they have multiple sales reps to handle inbound leads, and they need to pay those sales reps their commissions when people close a deal for a couple of grand or whatever it is. That rep needs to get their commission at the end of the month, and this is, as far as I know, called reconciliation. So going through what sales were made, who gets what commission, okay, pay all those people out, how many commissions did we pay versus cash collected, all these type of things. These are really important metrics for a business owner to know, and obviously to keep the sales reps happy, to get them paid on time. So we came up with this sales commission tracking system. And in this specific case, it was done with Go High Level. And the reason I mentioned Go High Level specifically is that I've worked with a lot of clients now across a lot of different tools, ActiveCampaign, HubSpot, Go High Level. And very often, a lot of these tools lack certain things, and that certain thing is often reporting, especially when it comes to something like this, sales commission tracking, because they're not really built for this for the most part. And Go High Level, especially, from what I could see, I'm not super experienced with it. It doesn't allow you to really create any custom reports or dashboards. It kind of just gives you the basic deal stuff and that's it, and you're done. So naturally, the solution around this that I do for clients and this situation specifically is we send all the necessary information to a Google Sheet, and then obviously we're capturing information from elsewhere, and we're joining that information together, and that's how we come up with our calculations and our reports, basically. And that's what I'm going to walk you through today. So the gist of it, and I'm going to keep this not just high level, but I'm still going to give you ideas, because if you want to implement this with another system, you're obviously going to have to work out how to do these things. But the gist of it is, obviously, we need to know what deals are coming in and who have those deals being assigned to. Because if a lead comes in, often they're round robin between the sales reps, and then you are good to go for that deal. Hopefully the person shows up. So what we did is all deals that come into Go High Level, all calls booked, all that data is sent to Zapier. Unfortunately, with Zapier, with Go High Level, what I remembered is you can't trigger a Zapier automation with saying capture all the bookings. If I remember at the time that I set this up, you had to tie it to a specific calendar, which is not ideal, because then you have to have like 10 automations all doing the same thing, basically, if you have 10 sales reps, for example. So what I did is I caught all bookings in Go High Level and I pushed those all to Zapier. But that's the story, is we need to capture all the deal information. Who is the signed rep? So you can see here, catch incoming booking data. And in this case, with Go High Level, and again, it will vary depending what information you get in. In this case, we got the calendar booking link, but we didn't get the name of who the setter was. So what we had to do, well, who the setter was and also who the deal was assigned to. So what we had to do was we had to use the link that the booking was made on and use the lookup table in Zapier to say, for this link, the setter is X person. If it was this link, the setter is this other person, type of thing. And it could be a setter or closer, same concept. And then we set the setter name on the deal. We add this to a Google Sheet. You can see here. So we're starting to centralize all the data in a Google Sheet. And then obviously Slack notifications. I'm a big fan of using Slack notifications or whatever tool is available to the team, because visibility is a great thing. And it's also good for, morale. Yeah, morale and visibility. And then if for some reason information hasn't pulled through cleanly, people can say, hey, by the way, what happened in this situation? Or, hey, this was actually my deal, type of thing. So it's just great. It's great for visibility, make things easy to pop up. So now we've got the information of the booked call. Now the question is, what happens when that deal gets closed? So this is where we end up in this situation of, in Go High Level or whichever tool you're using, you're obviously going to mark that deal as closed at some point. And in this case, we have a trigger for that saying deal is marked as closed. So poof, we move that into closed. And the beautiful thing is we catch that information in Zapier, obviously, we know that the deal ID, we know what deal it was, and we look up that previous record we added to Google Sheet by the ID. We want something unique that we can look up on. And now we obviously can indicate that that deal was closed, because once that deal was closed, then we obviously need to calculate what the commission is. That person needs to get paid for that closed deal. So you can see here, we look up the deal by the ID, mark the deal as closed, and then again, I love my Slack notifications. We mark that as closed, and we send the notification for it. Now, the question, which is very interesting, because that's quite simple, is new deal comes in, add to a central Google Sheet, deal gets closed, look up that deal, mark it as closed, done. Obviously, on this item in the Google Sheet, we have the setter name and we have the sales rep. So obviously, two people need to get paid commissions in this case. Now the question is, what happens if it's a payment plan? That's an interesting one. So also, what's really valuable and helpful to do, and almost no CRMs out of the gate have support for this, Go High Level, HubSpot, etc. You really have to add these things on yourself, if you can even. And we find it's just easy to do it in Google Sheets, because then you can visualize it with Google Data Studio or Tableau or whatever. We catch all incoming payments. So whether it's a Stripe payment or a PayPal payment, we're just catching all payments into Zapier or Make, whatever we're using. And we obviously filter for the payments we're interested in. If it's for a certain product, we just filter in for those products. We maybe have a bunch of different payments mixed in. So we want to obviously just catch the payments that we're interested in. And you can see here, we have a running log of payments. Now, this is where it can get a little bit tricky, because in Stripe and PayPal, we might not have the most identifiable or unique information. For example, we might not have the deal ID in Stripe or PayPal. That's just not how it works, unfortunately. You can add extra fields and things like that, but it doesn't always quite work out. So in this case, we're probably going to be looking up using the email address of who made the payment. And we're making a bit of an assumption that they're going to use the same email address as they originally booked the deal in with. And you can also say that, like, hey, please make the payment from the account that you use in the email address, or when you booked in the call the first time. So we look that deal up, and then we can obviously associate that payment to that original deal if it's a part payment. And obviously we can calculate what the commissions are all along that way, if that makes sense. And that's the gist of it. Again, I wanted to show you the full walkthrough because I figured it would give you ideas around how you can handle incoming data from multiple places, look that data up in a centralized Google Sheet, and also how you can just think about other useful ways of centralizing data to then visualize it in Google Data Studio, Tableau, or Power BI, or whatever it is. And that's often a solution I find myself coming to with clients, because you can just create so much better and more interactive charts and dashboards with those tools than, say, something Go High Level offers, or HubSpot offers, or ActiveCampaign offers. So if you enjoy that, just let me know. And I hope that made sense for the most part.